So I've decided, since work is so slow,
Hop,
I'm
tap,
going
tap,
to buy
tap,
me
tap.
a Raspberry Pi kit and learn how to program.
Ooh, interesting, interesting.
Because it's about the only useful feeling thing I can do right now.
I'm
Oh,
like
goodness.
so close to remulching the entire backyard because I'm so burned out with like
Games.
well the games and like the way life is going right now, and
Yep.
it's just a whole thing,
Hmm.
you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, I think I'll just get the standard little Raspberry Pi kit like everybody else starts with. Get my feet
Uh-huh,
wet.
uh-huh.
And then once I do that, I'm gonna upgrade to a little mechanism wheel robot, and that has, that it's the weird kind of reels that has the rollers tilted at a 45-degree
Yeah, I
angle,
know what it
and
is.
and they're fixed. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get one of those, figure out how to program that with variable controls, and I might be able to use my scuff controller on it, but we'll see. Um, and then once I learn how to program that, that'll be the foundations for my little helper forklift I want to make myself.
That'd be cool.
Because there's lots of times like I get home and I'm like, damn, this thing's heavy. And like I don't have someone immediately around me to help me get it out of the truck. And I want a little something that I can wheel around with a controller and help me lift things up out of the truck.
Just burning time, waiting for fast empires.
Fast
Ha-ta-ta-ta.
empires. But all in all, I just want to learn how to do something so I don't feel like I'm rotting away waiting for my clearance to go through.
Yeah.
Uh, in other news, Sandia news, some dudes
We
in the
are
electronics
live.
lab. Oh, okay. That's okay. It's like general news. Some
Okay.
guys in the electronics lab figured out how to make an LED 40% more efficient.
Hey!
So sooner or later,
Progress!
you will be able to power your TV with a potato.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Potato power generation. The new gold, potato farms.
Potato farms. It's gonna be nice when I can just, like plug whatever I want to power into the goddamn ground and it'll just work.
Mother Earth, power ho!
I need to charge my phone. Where's your grass patch?
You got any pawns around?
Jasmine is in chat. Hey, Jasmine.
Oh man. Are we streaming to the U of Tubes?
We are.
Okay. I will pull it up
Why the hell is there chocolate on my keyboard?
and then promptly mute it.
Gotta make sure that my audio is through the correct thing. Yes, it is.
I did hear myself, so it's working.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Druid magic at its finest. Oh, you mean like plugging your phone into the grass? Yeah, that'd be cool. We're just waiting on somebody that decided to take a call right in front of a deadline. She
Say it ain't
also
so.
she also
Say it ain't so.
added she also just updated our topic thread like
I saw that.
5 minutes ago.
It's League of Legends. Don't worry about it. If we get to it, we get to it.
Yeah.
As long as I hit the one of the topic points that I found, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Because I want the world to know. The world deserves to know.
Yeah, definitely.
That justice is being served.
Justice.
Justice.
This is in what, Denmark and Belgium? So
the Dutch. Yep. The
so
Dutchy
Netherlands.
People. I believe so. Good on them.
Yeah, man.
Good on them.
Definitely. Come on, Vast. Where are you at?
It'll be hot off the press as of yesterday.
Yesterday.
Actually, it might have been Thursday.
It was the 29th.
Double
was when the article was posted.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
I literally saw it. And I was like, oh! Yes.
Vast.
Yes.
Vast. Almost done.
Well, in a somewhat sad news, leading into the rest of sadness that is 2020, Sean Connery has passed away.
Yeah, but well, he was kind of an old shit in his old age, so
He was old, but
I think it was
Sean
his
Connery.
time. I think it was his time.
if there's ever a time to exit, it is 2020.
Yeah, this year has not been good. The last handful of years have not been good, truth be told.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. They get good, and then they dive down. Then they get good again, then they dive down again.
Dude, I'm hoping for
Fingers crossed.
a roaring 20s without the Great Depression.
You know, we're sort of in a time loop where we're at the point to repeat a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, we
I don't
are.
know, man.
Oh,
We're now approaching this. Like, all right, time for the century reboot, starting with a Great Depression.
Oh, Vast is here.
Hey, I made it.
You made it. We are live talking with Jasmine, who's in the chat, and all that garbage. Welcome.
Yeah, that Jasmine, he called the chat garbage.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Is there
Ready
anything?
to get started.
There's nothing else we need to do before we start. We're good. I believe Arcadius has already checked levels and we sound good, but I don't think.
Well, I didn't hear when Vass came on here. Let me.
No, I just checked myself before I riggedy wrecked myself, and it sounded pretty good.
Okay. Shall we start? Boop. I mean, that wasn't really a rhetorical question. Do we want to start?
Oh no, sorry. I was listening to voice overlaps. So.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
All right.
I
am ready.
Magic of editing in post will make this sound so great.
Cue the intro.
Hey, this is a podcast. Durnami Gaming podcast, in fact. Vast Empires is here. Arcady Zero is here. I am Scorch, your host. But it is the end of Spooptober in a pandemic. And what is a better way to finish Spooptober than with a podcast? When nobody is collecting my candy in the bowl that I put out on my porch because I'm not touching those little shits.
Yeah, our cities, because I live in a sister city situation, they were like sending out in the like city flyers for the month, trick or treats with family only, or keep your distance, put your candy outside, and social distance to the bowl, like all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm actually
Man.
really curious how it turned out for families in our area.
Ours went farther. Our state was no non-family contact, and that was the end of statement.
That's honestly a
They're
good
straight
call.
up like, don't
Hmm.
go anywhere, don't breathe wrong, don't exit. Like, just nothing. They ain't having it.
But we're not here to
So
talk
I don't
about
know.
the end of days, you guys. We're here to talk about video games, and it has been a busy week in the world of video
It
games.
has been. It has been.
Hmm.
We got some Cyberpunk news. Spoiler, they
Yep.
delayed it. We have some Oculus
Halo Infinite
news, Halo Infinite news, Anthem made the news again, and
Ooh.
Some
EA
EA
made the news
news.
again.
Oh yeah, they did.
I'm gonna leave
yeah,
that to
they
Arcadius because he's like salivating
yeah.
about it.
Ha la 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 la.
But
Anyways,
where
and Bugsnax news.
where do we want
Whatever
to
that's about.
where do we want to go? Do we want to talk Bugsnax first? Because you know,
Let's just get that out of the way.
Bugsnax.
God. I will give it to them. Their little tune is catchy.
It is.
However, I can't get around the game.
So, Bugsnax, a launch title for PlayStation 5, has announced that it's the free PS Plus game for PlayStation 5 for the month of November. So, if you're one of those people that picks up a PS5 or was able to pre-order it, like not any of us, you'll be able to pick up Bugsnax for free. And they also released a launch trailer, which has a little bit of story in it. You're
Yeah,
like
some
looking
purpose.
you're looking for the Safari woman.
Yeah, an explorer.
Yeah, I don't really know anything past that.
The general island know it all.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Are either
There's
you
a
gonna be
story
playing this game?
there.
I'm gonna go
First
with
of
a
all-
no.
You're not.
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You guys.
I'm
You
dead serious.
guys.
This game, it weirds me out in ways that are hard to describe and put into words.
Well, I mean, because it's like 2 parts vor, and I'm not there for that.
Yeah.
But I do like the general wackiness of the concept of Bugsnax.
Yeah.
It has a really catchy theme song, and I think when you put the eating things that turn you into things that are edible side of it, it's actually pretty cute, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not my game. What I'm really curious about though is how did Bugsnax get to be the PlayStation Plus game for the PS5? Is it for PS4, PS5, or just for PS5?
So what I heard
No, it's
was
4
that
and
it was
5.
it's releasing on both, I think.
Yes.
But
Okay.
it's the PS5 game of the
Ah.
month.
Okay.
Oh yes, and let's not forget the worm carrots, as Jasmine has exclaimed.
Yeah, worm carrots, absolutely.
That slink around.
Well, what
All
about the
sketchily
pizza
in the
butterfly?
grass.
I'm so
I don't know.
interested
The
in
thing that
pizza
really
butterfly.
gets me is the freaking rack of rib centipede with eyes. I can, that right there, like, I'm sorry, but it's gonna be a yikes from me.
It's a little disturbing. It's a little
Yeah.
disturbing, but I am more like mischievously intrigued by this game than I was about Death Stranding, and that game is
That's
weird.
so weird.
It's
I
weird.
find I would never in a million years have put this game and Death Stranding in the same weird category as you have just exclaimed.
It's not like it's the same kind of weird. It's the same level of weird, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's
It's
I
not.
can agree with
It's
that.
not the same at all. It's on the
Like-
weirdometer. It's about the same.
oh man. This definitely pegs out my weirdometer. Like, I would think Death Stranding makes perfect coherent sense compared to this nonsense.
I have no
That's just
idea
me.
how
It's
this
just me.
game works. Like, I don't think anybody knows how this game works. I'm not
It's
sure
got
the
McRib
developers
centipedes,
know.
man. Like, that's pretty
Yeah.
much
No.
the only explanation you need. Oh, there it is. What
Yep,
the heck?
yep. It just crawled
It's
by.
so weird.
And the
That's-
burger beetles and the freaking, like you said, pizza, like butterfly. I don't, or pita bread butterfly. I couldn't tell from the angle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm
Oh,
done with this.
All right, you want to move on? What are we moving on to?
Well, I will tie this together in two ways, if you let me.
Yeah.
First, the to wrap this up, the PlayStation 4 games of the month for November is Hollow Knight, critically acclaimed roguelite. That's honestly really cute. If you enjoy fan art, please go look at fan art of it because there's some really creative people out there.
Yeah.
And then Shadows of War.
Oh, Middle Earth.
Yeah, Middle Earth.
That's a
And
good game.
yep. And I will tie this to another news story by saying that this week, PlayStation announced another launch title for the PlayStation 5 is actually being moved to a PlayStation Plus release in February.
Yes,
and that's Destruction All Stars.
Yeah. So this is your wheelhouse, Vass. What do you want to say about it?
Honestly, I just thought it was another one of those curious decision, or maybe it's not a curious decision, but just a decision that was made where Destruction All Stars was supposed to be released in November inside of the PlayStation 5 launch window, but it's been pushed back to February 2021. And according to the PlayStation blog, it will be included for 2 months in PlayStation Plus at no additional cost, whereas most games get only 1 month in PlayStation Plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was
Well,
I was bringing this to you guys to ask you, like, what does that imply? Does it imply that it wasn't going to get lost in the shuffle, so they wanted to give it its own place in the lineup, or did they just move it to a slower month because it may be, it could find space there?
I think it's just the console launch debacle. It's kind of pushed everything back, and so as a result, they don't want to be like, oh, well, the window passed, even though you didn't have a game system when you wanted a game system because you pre-ordered it. They said you'd have it, and you don't have it. I mean, they're just trying to play ball here. So they want to get their game out. They want to give it a certain small period of free exclusivity, but then obviously they want to start making their money. But they are willing, it looks like, to push it just a little bit to make up for the difference in the times, if you will.
Yeah. I think that, let me put it this way. When a new console launches, there's always a pack of games that launch in the launch window. All of these launch titles that we're thinking of. We've got games like Godfall and stuff that we're looking forward to, but we also have games that are not really on our radar, like Destruction All Stars. And it might be that they're pushing it out of the launch-ish window so they can gain more traction away from the group. Does that make sense? Like, it's not in the mosh. They moved it out of the mosh and gave it a little bit more room to breathe. Plus, they might have a few more things to work on it. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be another thing. That could be, who knows, in a land of everything being shifted and moved around because of the pandemic, and then of course your standard, game getting ready to go struggles. It could fall in there too. I was also wondering if, and again, I don't, I could probably look up the stats. I was wondering if the limited number of consoles that are available, and then the fact that the whole, as Arcadius mentioned, the pre-order debacle, where there are people who have received things like their pre-order, they may not get it through Amazon or such and such and such. Would that fault come into account of maybe PlayStation and the developer are like, we're probably not going to sell as much as we like. Our projections are going to be off because we have even less consoles out in the wild or in the hands of our consumers than we thought.
Yeah. I mean, there's still the PlayStation, the Sony projection that they put forth the other day that said that they want, and this is a hell of a number, you guys, They want to sell 7.5 million units by March.
Oof.
Well, they need to make 7.5 units available. They
Yeah.
could have sold that already.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that was ready day one, I don't think they'd have a problem. Like, I think the conversation they wanted to have was, we don't have enough drivers to deliver all the units, from what it is right now, which is we don't know how to get units made and out fast enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, kind of really shame on them for the poor planning, even with pandemic rising. If the sheer volume of that goal and us being, and I'm sure a paltry sum close to it, is just showing how ill prepared the massive response was.
It was
Well,
bad.
so let me ask you. Yeah.
What did you want to
So
ask?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna dovetail this conversation just a little bit, because this week during my weekly like podcast YouTube session, while I work, I noticed that the influx of PlayStation 5 unboxings has like reached the people, right? So first they were like, here's the controller, and then like, here's the PlayStation 5, and so the embargo on all that stuff has been released, and not just for the PlayStation 5, but also I think there's been a couple of Xbox unboxings that have popped up on my radar, and then I saw Xbox sent Snoop Dogg an Xbox Series X and an Xbox Series X refrigerator.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
That
What?
refrigerator is a real thing.
I
Are you
want
serious?
that fridge.
Yeah. No, they made
It's an
a
Xbox built into
refrigerator.
a fridge?
No, they made
Yeah.
a refrigerator that looks like an Xbox Series X, like a big
Oh,
black
For the
refrigerator.
memes, for the lulz.
that's goofy.
It would be literally the only Xbox product I would ever own, but I actually want that fridge. Especially if they fill it with all the stuff that they gave Snoop Dogg.
I mean,
But so
you can knock Xbox all you want, but their controllers are top notch. Like when you go into some PC titles, and I know that may be in the future, you should consider an Xbox controller, because they're actually really nice.
Oh, I have my game. I got my Pro. So here's the thing. Like, and I
Okay,
said it
all right.
before. I have my Switch Pro controller is actually really nice. But here's my thing, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm sure in a podcast in the future, Xbox has consistently said to me as a consumer, I don't want your business. And so I say to Xbox, well, then you're not going to have my business. It's just that simple.
I mean, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, that's all it
absolutely
is.
your prerogative.
Yeah, I mean that's literally all it is. Like when they launched, they had a specific demographic, and as they continue, I'm not in that demographic, and so I will continue to be counted someplace in other areas, and that's all it is for me.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So where I was going with that originally was, do those unboxing videos, in your opinion, like keep with the hype? Like, is it maintaining the hype? Do you feel like there's some kind of like fatigue with it? Like, why are they showing us stuff that no one owns? Or do you think it's, or it's just part of the rollout, and so of course it's going to continue? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I am not hyped about a PlayStation 5. It's going to happen regardless. I'm going to get one when I get one, and it might not be soon, and it's an inevitability. So that they're showing me anything at this point is nothing to me.
Same mindset, totally pointless. I could utterly care less, because I will own one and unbox it for myself.
Yeah.
So
what
I don't need someone to show me what I already have the brain power to do myself.
Yeah.
So
what I was kind of surprised at is that all of the early people that got their hands on a PlayStation 5 were talking about how goddamn gigondo the PlayStation 5 was, right? Like, it's huge.
It's large.
And then you actually see it in comparison to all of the bananas people are setting in front of the PlayStation 5. And you're like, yeah, that thing is huge.
Well, I mean, and so the other thing that gets me about the unboxings is like literally Sony put out an official video with a guy taking apart a PlayStation down to the bare motherboard, and it's like, could you need an unboxing any more succinct than this? Like, you will go no further than what this guy has shown the world. So I've already seen the innards of the PlayStation. I don't need to
Yeah.
see someone's like, oh man, this is pretty sweet, like opening it up. Like, I know, I already know what it looks like. I already know what comes inside it. Like, there's no mystery. So all these unboxing videos to me is just like channel number hype is all it boils down to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other thing is I feel like, and maybe this is just the other YouTube communities that I live in, but unboxing videos haven't been a thing for a while. Like I know people still do them, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
It feels like a Zigger that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Unboxing videos were like the biggest thing, but it's part of the rollout. It's still happening.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, people are interested in, what it looks like, how large it is, what the packaging is like, because there is a significant portion of the population that looks at that like I look at food. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty like hardcore when it comes to food. So yeah, I can see it.
And
Like,
some people
would
got
be
to have their
interested.
unboxing videos.
Yeah.
Life or the evening is just not complete without watching an unboxing video of something, anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, not knocking it, just asking a question.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to another rollout during this console war window, whatever that we're experiencing. Scorch, you mentioned that a really highly anticipated game has been pushed back yet again.
Oh, are you talking about Cyberpunk?
Why,
I do
yes,
believe
sir.
she is referencing Cyberpunk.
All right. Well, okay, there's a little story that goes around this whole Cyberpunk fiasco, and I think that's kind of what it is. They released a statement on Twitter. I have the statement pulled up on our stream. It's talking about the reason why they delayed it. One of the things that they cite is that they are having trouble maximizing all of the platforms because they have to work on 9 versions of the game. They have PlayStation and Xbox. They have, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 Pro, the whatever equivalent of the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 4 digital, the PlayStation 4 physical, Google Stadia, PC, on and on. And that's a lot.
It is a lot.
And along with that, there are a few things that I'd like to highlight that kind of went on in the background with this statement. One thing is that most of the staff did not know that it was delayed until they checked Twitter to see the delay that's been posted. Nobody told
Kind
them.
of crummy. As a company, that's kind of crummy. They need to get their act together.
And what's more,
You can get that email out in time, Deborah?
Obviously not. Deborah was asleep because it was her day off.
Yeah. And what's more is that there are reports, credible reports, that you can go and see if you check the Twitter of Jason Schreier. I'm going to call it now, friend of the show, even though he's not. That people that are working for CD Projekt Red are crunching so hard on this game right now that they are pulling 100-hour weeks.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is way,
That's too much.
That's the kind of stuff
too
that
much.
makes people sick, really sick.
And I think the whole crunch culture really needs to continue to be called out. So I'm calling out crunch culture right here. Stop doing it. It's not safe for people.
Mm-mm.
It's awful. All right, you guys.
Well, it's quite frankly an emotional abuse as well, if you want to think about it. It's not just
absolutely.
physical. It's all spectrums of the no-go zone.
Yeah. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight in behind the scenes when it came to this update. One more thing is that the lead producer of CD Projekt Red, either that, like the president of the company or something like that, told the press that in the beginning, like way back in the development of this game, that they decided that they are not going to crunch on this game, that they're just going to work on it normal hours until it was done. And then that didn't work, obviously. And when all of this information broke around this announcement, that guy had two diverging stories. One story was what he told the press, which was, "Oh, our staff is not crunching all that hard. It's really overblown." And
oh man,
another with screenshotted emails from the very same man was personally apologizing to spouses of people in the dev team for them being absent in their lives because of crunch.
got him.
So, like, I mean, the screenshot key exists, all right? You can't really hide that anymore.
Yeah.
I
think it just goes back to, well, it's just very disappointing, and it just goes back to, I mean, what everyone will talk about, but project management, but also like how does this perpetually happen when, as an industry, like, you know, the issues in the front end of development, you know, the issues in the back end of development, and everything is different, but how is there never enough time? I guess it seems like there is never enough time put into this, and so things are constantly being pushed. I feel like we might need to speak to someone who's actually in the industry. I will find somebody.
It pretty much boils down to appeasement of investors and the people pumping the money in. Yeah. That's really all it boils down to.
CDPR is a publicly traded company, so they had to tell them to tell them a title, or like a date, a release date, so that all of these investors could know when they were going to be able to make their return. And on top of that, I also think it's really poor management, like Jasmine.
I mean, it's truly investor driven. Like you see it a lot, but it's never really spoken very much, where you have a small company, they make an awesome game, and guess what? It came out awesome, you know, using a normal amount of work, and as soon as that studio is bought up by a publicly traded company, guess what? They're now in the crunch zone. Not just like the normal small company crunch. We're talking big corporate, large company, stupid crunch that shouldn't happen with all the extra manpower, facilities, the extra computational capacity that those companies can provide.
Yeah.
All the resources that a large company can provide, and they still do the same thing only because a small company wants to get big, so they're recognized and they can make money for themselves. The big companies got to make money for the big wigs pumping money into their company on the regular, on the norm, not just like the one-hit wonders. They're trying to do it over and over and over in that thing that is perpetual growth that's not possible, but they're trying to do it anyways.
Yeah.
So,
and like, we should be clear, we are not experts on this. We are only tangentially attached to this industry because we like the things that they put out. We don't know 100% of the story. This is just what we think. This is opinion right now.
Plus of what's shown to us, right? You've already able to see just what we just talked about, the double standard that's very clearly shown without having to think about it at all. It's right there. It's like, you have this interview where he said this, and you have this email where he said this. One of these things doesn't belong here.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we have to go on right now. We don't specifically have an in at Cyberpunk or a CD Projekt Red or anything like that. So, yeah.
And what is the new date? It's December something?
December 10th? 12th? December 10th.
Somewhere in there.
New release date is December 10th.
Okay. New question.
Okay.
Do you think that this will benefit? This is a completely speculation zone. Do you think that this pushback will benefit Assassin's Creed Valhalla in any way?
It probably will, I think. Because Assassin's Creed Valhalla was due to release like 9 days before Cyberpunk.
Oh, that's definitely
Yeah.
poorly planned. So I guess if you're given a month of buffers, a couple people can blitz through it and go, okay, played the story, now I'm ready for Cyberpunk. Like
Yeah. People that are starved for a new RPG will probably be looking for a different hit now that Cyberpunk is pushed back.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe I'll be able to play Cyberpunk on a PS5. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. If you get one between
assuming
now and
you
then.
get one this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
Well, I'm honestly just curious, and we'll move on to the next topic. But I am really curious to see if are there going to be consoles available for Christmas purchases, like specifically Black Friday. I'm really curious about that.
Oh my God, what is a pandemic Black Friday gonna be like?
It's actually very
digital?
spread out. I've already seen a lot of stores that are like, well, we're not doing it on our typical Black Friday, so
They're doing like
big
a
box
Black
stores.
Week.
No, they're doing like a Black Monday instead of like Black Friday, and they're spacing it out. So they're calling it the Black Friday, deals of the year, but physically they're actually digitally happening on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're spread out. They're not. It's not like one day and the servers are going to go dark and everyone's like, God damn it. So
yeah.
And if I'm being honest, like it's kind of been like that for online shopping, like digital shopping. They've had deals throughout the week, but still, Black Friday was the big day. So
yeah. I'm sure your big ticket plasmas will still be on Friday, but you'll have some other like little PCs, headphones, controllers, like other little things and accessories throughout the whole week, I'm sure.
So to bring us back to semi on topic and still staying in the speculation zone, I have a question for you guys, and it takes a little bit of explaining. So journey with me, take a walk with me here. Rumor has it from multiple sources that Sony is closing in on a deal with Crunchyroll that is worth almost $1 billion. Sony wants to buy Crunchyroll for $935 million, or so the story goes.
Big bucks.
That's a lot of money.
Big bucks.
And what I want to know, here's the speculation zone part of it all. Is this going to be a la carte, or are they going to do what I want them to do and just roll it into one of the features of PlayStation Plus?
They're not going to do that, in my opinion.
I mean,
I see this.
They could raise the amount of money for PlayStation Plus by like $5 and make it like
I don't think they want to do that.
$75
I think they're
a
pretty
year.
comfortable
And
with
have
the price of the PlayStation Plus,
everything and Crunchyroll all together.
I think Crunchyroll can be an addition to your Plus. I think if they roll it in and increase the price, a lot of people will tolerate it, but I don't know how well received that's going to be. Now, part of me believes that they might do that because Netflix has just announced an increase in their subscription service. But honestly, I think this is PlayStation's or Sony's way of wanting to compete with the big streaming sites, because Sony's own self-constructed streaming site, let's just face it, is not going to be that great, and that's not where their focus and manpower is really at.
They already have one. It's PlayStation Vue.
I know, and it's not really, from my hunting and searching, hasn't really taken off very well, as say something more well established
Yeah.
like Crunchyroll. So if they can take all the bits that they wanted to have, take the massive platform that is Crunchyroll, smack it in there as another selectable in the Crunchyroll domain, it lets someone else handle a lot of the large integration with skill sets that they're very good at, and Sony can stick to what they're good at. So this is very standard. Large company buys, other company that's good at one thing that they want to add to the portfolio, and all the uppers get rich. That's it's just the normal way things work. So
And
I definitely think it's something that they would integrate because they know Crunchyroll does it well, and it probably has a lot of synergy with what they want to integrate. And Crunchyroll can stay what it is,
Yeah.
but now that they could be parent owned, there's other stuff Sony can inject in it and therefore make it readily available on the platform. So instead of streaming to YouTube, we might be streaming to Crunchyroll. I mean, you don't know. You don't know what their plans are, but I think that's kind of the direction they
yeah,
want to head.
Yeah.
They want to
that
pull
would
more
actually be kind
away
of
from
cool.
YouTube and put more on Crunchyroll, which and essentially if more views go to Crunchyroll purely from the gaming aspect, this means all of the advertisements that are done on Crunchyroll ultimately end up in Sony's pocket and not lost to Alphabet's pocket
Yeah.
or Google or whatever subsidiary they are. So
Yeah.
this is definitely a way to try and say, all right, we're going to cordon off all this gaming stuff that happens on YouTube and try to reel in some of that into their own platform space. And I think this is an extremely smart move to do.
I didn't even think about that implication, and I love it. I honestly think that it would be like I love it. I think it would be a really good thing. I'm looking at the article right now from The Verge where they talk about it. I did want to just inject two really really quick things.
Sure.
Um, the first is that I would see Sony allowing you to add it to your service for your existing like PlayStation subscription or your PlayStation View subscription for an additional whatever fee. If it's honestly, I think I still have a Crunchyroll subscription. They're probably just siphoning money from my account. I can't even tell you the last time I logged in.
That's how they get
But
you.
that's how they get me. I have so many streaming services, but that's going to be a topic for another day. But I think for like $9.99 or $8.99 or $4.99, you'll just be able to add it in there a la carte because that's basically what Amazon is doing right now, and I think that the medium really works for them, where you have your basic Amazon Prime, and then you can add all of the additional channels that you would want to, like CBS All Access,
HBO.
Epix, HBO, BBC, Acorn TV, BritBox. Clearly I have a lot that is added on too. But
Prime subscription is like $45.
Oh
Jesus.
my God. Like they are getting you both ways. They really are. I mean subscription. I'm not just talking about Amazon, but I mean subscription. But it leads me to this is going to take me a little off topic. But did you guys see the news that came out where Amazon Prime is arguing that purchases that you make, digital purchases that you make through Prime Video are not considered your like an evergreen purchase. Hold on, let me find the article.
So what? Like they could sunset that, like your purchase, and you would not have access to something that you bought.
Okay, so real quick, you don't. What they're saying is, what they're arguing in court right now is that you don't own the movies you buy on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, you're purchasing a license to run that movie on your machine. That's what that is.
Yes, that's what they're saying. So when you like end your Amazon subscription, you no longer have access to that license.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me in this world. It's not like I like it, but it makes sense to me in the current timeline we're on.
Oh gosh, I can't. Sorry, I have like 30 pop-ups that just came up.
there's something very similar going on with one of the creative heads at Google Stadia. Did you hear anything about that? He stepped in some real.
I know that guy's. Oh yeah, he's definitely open mouth insert foot type of person.
He stepped in some real flaming hot water dog shit with that statement, where he said that streamers should be paying for the right to stream video
or show
games.
any content.
Yeah.
Not even just to stream video games. He was also implying everyone who does a review on a game or talks about or publicizes visually or audio in any way, they should be paying the company that made the game.
Yeah.
Because this guy is just smoking the finest crack that 2020 can offer.
No, well, I'm just gonna go out there and put my foot in it, because I don't agree with him, but I will say that this is actually an argument that has been around for a very, very, very long time, not in the streaming world, but in the world of fan artists and fan writers. And so now, like, these are off this now, it's just under the umbrella of fan created content. Right now, there are only specific things that you can do as a fan to get paid for it, and it is within those things, but fan writers still can't receive money for fiction that they create because it's heavily traded on intellectual property, right? And so that's where he's coming from. Like, I see where he's coming from. I just think that
he's
wrong,
if that's
because
the domain that he's coming from.
It comes under fair
said
use.
It so terribly.
Well, I mean, but it comes under fair use, right?
It does.
Yeah. And in his opinion, basically fair use to him means nothing. It means pay it forward anyways. And that's part of what had people so disturbed, was his interpretation that fair use is garbage and you should be paying the developers anyways to use it at all.
Yeah. I mean, in a way.
And that's what had people disgruntled.
Another thing that he talked about was that he thinks that narrative-driven games that are streamed by popular streamers are taking away purchases from people that would potentially purchase the game.
No, that's not. If they were
But, like, listen, the people that watch the streams, there's a whole bunch of reason why they watch the streams. Maybe they weren't going to buy it anyway, or maybe they liked the personality. It's not something that you're gonna, like, you're not losing a purchase from that. I don't think that's the way that it works at all.
Even if it does work that way, it's for such an insignificantly small percentage of the gaming population that it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
you don't even mention the percentage of people that actually purchase the game from their positive streaming experience.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're forgetting about all of the advertisement that these streamers are giving you for your title.
And that actually was another point. I remember watching some comments. There was an individual who brought that exact point up, and it's like, well, I guess he hates free advertisement then. We'll just put it in a tiny closed box and make sure only the people that discover it know about it.
Well, I mean, you can look at the power of the free advertisement from streaming communities when you look at, like, Fall Guys and Among Us. Like, Among Us had been out for how many years before, Twitch found it or streamed it, and then it became like the party game of the pandemic right now.
Another title right now that's going gangbusters, and Jasmine was streaming it about an hour ago, is Phasmophobia, which people really, really like right now. And like, me especially, I would not see any interest in playing that game at all. And now that it has a fan base on Twitch and with all of the streamers, it's going nuts right now.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you this: is it less of an issue? Should it be something not? Well, I know that the cost would be passed down to the streamer anyway, just because that's how shitty capitalism can be sometimes. But shouldn't his shouldn't this person, I can't remember what his name was, his argument be not for the against the streamers, but for the platforms that are streaming, and that they should be providing some kind of licensing across the board so their content should be um
Well, that's been an
used on
argument.
streams?
That's been an argument for years in the game industry, like how to deal with that. And it is especially large with videos uploaded to YouTube and
Yeah.
the way YouTube.
It's too hard to enforce and control. There's
Yeah.
just no reasonable way to set an expectation and enforce it on universal platform sets with a common mission like that. Like there's just no
Yeah.
amount of interoperability that allows that to easily be done between entities that have such differing views on how this information and data is to be used.
Yeah.
Well, I just imagine, like, I guess I'm now pivoting to say, would it look like something like Tidal, which may have started out in, optic wise, may have started out weirdly because it was just a bunch of millionaires on stage saying, "Hey, we're starting this new platform to make sure that we're being paid correctly through streaming and streaming services." Is it something where who owns Twitch right now? Amazon?
Yeah.
It's not gonna it wouldn't be able to work with Amazon. But what if it were Sony who took Crunchyroll and said, "Hey, we are starting this platform here. PlayStation exclusive streamers have this, and this, and the rights for this, and you get different perks to bring things in or you get different perks or additional exclusives for streaming your games on this platform, and devs will receive a cut of the stream."
I don't think it's
Would that
so
be
much
possible?
as a change of awards, because right now the battle is taking what is currently the norm and taking away from people. So what you kind of described is like taking, an environment and rewarding people with a, given environment that operates very similarly to what works right now. But I think part of that argument is a step in the other direction because the comments imply that, oh no, we want to take everything that is currently the normalcy, currently within fair use, and throttle and restrict it backwards,
Well,
not forwards.
yeah, but I guess where I'm going with it is that, again, one, it shouldn't be an argument that's leveraged against the individual streamer or the streaming community or the fan content related community. It should be leveraged against the platforms. And like I said, I know that it may eventually, if it gets to that point, it would trickle down to the streamers anyway. It already is trickling down to the streamers in the form of what are they, DMCA takedowns and demonetization on YouTube and all this kind of stuff. But
well, that gets into a whole YouTube algorithm rabbit hole that we're not going to go down.
Honestly,
no, we're not going to go into that.
We could make a podcast or a couple of podcasts on this topic alone and talk about this ad nauseum. But we have other things to cover. One. And if we still want to shit on big companies, I know where we can go.
Take us to the chorus.
Hold on.
What?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. Let's talk about Facebook, you guys. And Oculus.
Man. Oh, man. Truth be told, I do not own an Oculus system. Just throwing that out there.
So
never will.
I just brought up an article by Eurogamer titled "Deleting Facebook Also Deletes Your Oculus Purchases."
God.
This was something that Vast brought to our attention. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Facebook is so dumb. They just don't get it. They do this kind of stuff all the time. This is not a first time occurrence. Like they just don't understand anything.
Or do
about...
they?
No, they do not understand the individual consumerism ownership. It's just so frustrating and stupid.
Yeah, so just a real quick read through the Eurogamer article, but Facebook confirmed that if you own the original Oculus Rift or Rift 2, and you linked your Oculus accounts to a Facebook account, then deleting or unlinking your Facebook account will affect your Oculus Store purchases. If you did not link the two accounts, it doesn't affect it in any way. But if you did link those accounts, you will lose those purchases.
Well, another thing around this is that they are phasing out Oculus accounts, and I think starting either February or March of next year, you have to have a Facebook account to play any Oculus games.
Oh, also keep in mind, one registered Oculus per account. You can't have multiple.
So yeah, I mean,
IT,
listen,
migration, laziness.
everybody,
That's what it boils down to.
at one point or another, everyone has had a Facebook.
Yeah, sadly.
I don't have one anymore. I've deleted it as far as I can delete it, and I am quite happy without it. But it doesn't stop the fact that Facebook is a massive, massive, massive company that wants to grab up as much as it possibly can, and it doesn't care if it understands what it owns.
Nope.
And I think this is one of those things that they now own because they heard that VR was gonna be the thing, and now they don't know about it, and they have no intention of knowing about it. They just want to make sure that they are integrated with the platform to the point where you can't separate the two.
Yep.
Yeah, it's their vision of a Minority Report type future where the technology may shift and change in appearance, but the integrated aspect of it will still remain with you and Facebook.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
A version of Minority Report without all of the really cool swipey screens. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh,
Swish, swish.
whoosh, whoosh.
Oh gosh, or the scene where he was walking through and all of the pop-ups appeared for it, the personalized advertisement appeared in front of his eyes.
Yeah, didn't you have to
God, that's a nightmare.
shake the cereal box in order for it to like stop talking to you or something
Yeah. Yeah.
like that?
And it just makes me mad because I need cybernetic eyes, and I just know that that the pop-up ads are just gonna just make the migraines happen.
Play Candy
In
Well,
the
for
Crush.
future.
$5.99 a month, you can buy a subscription ad blocker for your new eyes.
God dang it!
Integrated with your
Another
Amazon Prime.
subscription!
Oh fuck. Oh god.
Oh man.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
It is so. It is so.
It's coming.
Yeah. Will it be worth it to be able to zoom in like 100 times with your eyeballs? I don't know. Or see
Look,
in the
man,
dark.
I just want to be able to just zoom in one time with my eyes and actually see.
2 times zoom.
Oh man.
That's
So we had another company that we can talk some smack about for a little bit because they are finally starting to get a reckoning, maybe. Arcadius?
Oh, yeah. Arcadius.
Is this the comeuppance?
It's your
This
turn.
is your time.
Oh, it's time.
turn.
It's time. EA's getting slammed by one of the federal courts in, I think it's Denmark or Norway.
Dutch.
Damn
so
it, I'm forgetting which one now.
Netherlands.
Dutch. Yep, the
Netherlands.
Netherlands. The Netherlands have finally handed down judgment to those greedy EA bastards, and they have ruled that the FIFA loot box system is gambling. They have also said that no, your fine amount will be made public to also continue to deter this gambling even further, and they are being fined 10 million euros. But what is not in this specific gamesindustry.biz article is the fact that either the same or another one of the federal judges in Denmark has stated with this massive fine that they're going to receive outright, they will be fined an additional €500,000 per week that they have the system in place.
Ooh.
So as long as there is loot boxes in FIFA, $500,000 a week, just like that. And it brings me such satisfaction to finally see the actual court systems recognize this garbage for what it is and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be able to crunch the numbers, though, and ask themselves, are you making more than $500,000 a week off of FIFA?
The answer is yes.
Probably.
But it's still going to eat into those earnings, and it will has to spark some kind of change.
I hope so.
Not just that. You also have to take into account all the negative PR that this could bring with it. So if you as a company are getting fined by the European, body €500,000 a week, and you just say meh and you ignore it, you're already breaking their gambling laws. Like, they're illegally continuing to run a service that their judicial system has said you are breaking the law and you must stop. So I don't think, even if the money worked out in their favor, that they could continue to do it, because then the next step is going to be like, oh, you didn't want to fix your problem after, donating like millions and millions of euros. We're just going to outright cut it out. And then if the judicial banhammer comes down, now that's even worse, because this sets a court precedence should this happen again. And since the ruling would be against them already, any misstep of anything else that even resembles this will give those lawyers all the ammunition they need to go after them again.
Well, I do want to sit here and say that EA has given a statement to Game Industry Biz, and I'm going to read it real quick. And it's pretty telling. Players all over the world have enjoyed FIFA and the FIFA Ultimate Team mode for many years, and as such, we are disappointed by this decision and what it may mean for our Dutch community. We do not believe that our products and services violate gambling laws in any way. We're appealing this decision, and we seek to avoid a situation impacting the ability of Dutch players to fully experience and enjoy FIFA Ultimate Team. Electronics Arts is deeply committed to positive play. We seek to bring choice, fairness, value, and fun to all our players in all of our games. We remain open to discussions with the Netherlands Gambling Authority and other stakeholders to understand and explore solutions to address any concerns. I want to go on the record and say they don't really seem like they're a fan of choice, because no one can choose which characters they receive from the FIFA Ultimate Team. They can only choose to guess money. Yeah, they can only choose to gamble on receiving the character that they want.
Yeah.
And it's not just what you receive in game. What the documents of the court went to explain, and the judge's reasoning for handing out this judgment, was the fact that it is inducing a habit of gambling on part of the consumer, like these yahoos who spend $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 in packages.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fact that people are incentivized themselves as a consumer to spend this unreasonable, and it can absolutely be claimed, unreasonable amounts of money to a digital system that has no value, or even just to a digital rolling randomization system, that constitutes gambling addiction. And that's what they're trying to nip in the bud in the first place. So for them saying, we're just pleased at the Netherlands decision to do this, is like, no, it's the same everywhere. They're just the first body to stand up and go, calling bullshit and saying it for what it is.
Yeah. What's more is that all of this money that these people are spending, essentially gambling on FIFA Ultimate Team, is inevitably going to absolutely evaporate in gains, whatever they've gained, whatever they have, when EA decides this title is no longer profitable and they shutter the servers. all of that stuff is gone.
Yep.
Everything that you gambled, all of those thousands and thousands of dollars that you paid to possibly get one player that you liked is now gone.
To get messy.
Yeah.
To get messy, because that's who everyone was. I'm reasonably sure that's who most people were looking for an extended period of time, or Cristiano Ronaldo, like the big names.
Yeah,
sure.
That you can, like, there's like a 0.001% chance to receive.
And for some people, $5,000 of in-game currency still wasn't enough, and EA did not care.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Suck it, EA.
Yeah. So this fills me with hope, only because if this continues to train its way through the European Union, which hoping to God it does, what this means is that this will have to force EA to consider how the loot box system, or even if it should exist to the degree that it does, in their games. Because if there's one thing these big old gaming companies don't like, it's making multiple versions of the same game. That's not time efficient, that's not good business sense, and it makes no reasonable fiscal sense to do that.
Yeah.
It costs more money. They're already at the point where they're trying to squeeze pennies out of rocks, and you can't.
Hell, they just reskinned to the 2019 version for Nintendo.
They did.
Perfect example. They did not even care to make a game. They're like, guys, things are too tight. Throw a skin on. And like, that was it. That is all they did.
So there is even like, let's be clear, EA is not the only scum sucker publisher out there, because 2K has been caught with their NBA games.
Oh yeah.
In the 2020 versions, if you zoom in on the bleachers and the like all the benches and stuff, it still says 2K19 on that stuff.
Same with Madden.
Yeah.
Same thing with Madden.
So, you know, like,
just saying.
Yeah.
They're disrespecting you to the utmost degree, and they don't care because you're still buying their games.
Yeah.
Don't feed the monster. All right, that's pretty much all I got to say. We could definitely go ad nauseum on that too.
All right. Well, here's a team from EA that is in a current dumpster fire that's trying to pull themselves out of a dumpster fire, and that's Anthem. Do you want to talk about some of that?
Anthem. Oh, Anthem.
Yeah,
So
let's move over there.
It was a lighthearted blog article to kind of, update the masses and say, hey, we're still alive. We're still working on this game. We are still mulling over some decision making. And I've got to say, based on the images and the purported skill tree that they are working up from the ground, from scratch, from what the game used to operate like, is, in my opinion, a step in a positive direction for them.
Absolutely.
And I actually like what is presented in even how albeit minuscule it is. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right, Jasmine. If No Man's Sky can do it, Anthem can do it.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm rooting for Anthem.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this actually gave me hope to want to think about playing this game again when they re-release it, because the amount of change in these images and the structure tree architecture is a true 180 from how we played the game on launch.
Yeah.
Ignoring all the other bugs, just pure game mechanic wise, the Ranger they showed, it is graphically far more appealing than some of the other suits and things you could wear in initial gameplay.
Yeah.
So this is already something totally different looking than what they offered. And the way that they're going to go about equipping the different suits with very explicit degrees of customization and branch choices for gameplay gives me a lot of hope that they are in fact trying really hard to think about how to build this game right from the ground up, the way it should have been without the rush that was our previous iteration of Anthem.
Yeah, I agree. What I really enjoyed out of this, well, I enjoyed a couple of things out of this. One, they're still working on the game. They still believe in the game, and they still believe that they have a viable path forward. And I want them to make a good game. even after I played it and we all shit on it and like we made a podcast about how it was bad, we still had positive things to say about it. We still liked what they produced, even if it was a flaming dumpster fire filled with dog shit.
The IP. The IP is still good.
It is.
The execution is what we ragged on. Just utterly garbage execution. But we never complained about, oh, this story is utterly boring, or oh, these suits look lame. Like, no, they still looked good. The flying mechanics are amazing. I think they're still the best of any of the games that I've played.
Yeah.
But it still has its significant architectural downfalls.
And the thing that I liked about it, Scorch, unless you had something else to say.
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about the skill trees that they showed, but you can go ahead.
No, hit it, because I think we'd basically be saying the same thing.
Okay, well, they outlined a little bit about how the new skill trees were going to work, where you have a general, like, for this one, they just talked about the Rangers. So they said each suit will have a general skill tree, and then you can specialize into a specific version of whatever suit that you wanted. And I really like that. It gives diversity to every single javelin, which is not really something that you saw in Anthem's initial release. It will be very interesting to play around with all of the little perks and aspects and skills that you can get, even just within one suit. And I'm really interested in how they're going to do this in the future. And really what this reminds me of is something that we've hit on before, is some skill trees from Outriders. And
yes, that's what I was going to say. I knew we're like this. You can't see my fingers, but we're like this.
Yeah, their skill trees are very reminiscent of Outriders, which is a very anticipated game that we're waiting on. At least from the three of us. I know Jasmine is very interested in Outriders as well. Mm-hmm. So.
But yeah, that was literally exactly what I was going to say. That looking at the skill trees and the progression paths of it, and I mean, it's not uncommon at this point, but it did remind me of Outriders in a positive way. And also that clearly the team that is working, the BioWare team that is working on Anthem, took a huge step back and listened to not only the criticisms that they may have, criticisms and concerns that they had, in studio, but they listened to the community. Mm-hmm. And they're working to address those things and making a game that they want to play, but that we also want to play. And even if it's something as simple as saying, hey, you said there's no real way to create an actual build for your javelin with the way that the current system is. Well, here's how we're going to address that. And they just really clearly outline what they're thinking right now. They're showing us images of the new UI. They're showing us some of the different abilities and mods that you'll be able to add to your play. Like already the screen looks like there's more there's more on it and more information to make you feel like your javelin feel important and specific to you.
Yeah.
And they're building back trust in a good way. I think that's where I'm going with this.
I think
the question is, who's still here to see it?
I think that one of the very first things that they did, and this is purely conjecture, is that the guy who was handed Anthem, the first thing he did was he picked up the phone and he called Sean Murray from No Man's Sky. And he was like, all right, listen, how do you do this right?
I thought they were going to say the first thing that they did was listen to our podcast and then address all of the issues. No, but I've been keeping track of BioWare, some of the artists and the concept art that's coming out.
It's really cool.
It really is, and not just because I am someone who loves sky pirates, like just the concept, sky pirates and sand pirates. We just don't get enough of that. But yeah, it looks like there's some really cool ideas coming out, and they're working really hard to I hope build a very stable architecture and um, gameplay loop to make me come back and play. Because I'm with Arcadius. I will come back and try Anthem, and I sincerely hope that it is
But I
a game
swear
that
to
I want
God,
to
if
play.
I load the main menu and I crash, I might be done with it. Like,
Listen,
I have
if
to be able
they
to
make
turn
it
this game
past-
on.
If they make it past you loading into the game and not
It's so
crashing
sad.
your entire system in a load screen, they're doing better than original Anthem, right?
God, the bar is
Mhm.
so low, but I swear
It's
if they
so
do not
low.
even
How does the bar keep on getting low though? That's
complacency.
another
Complacency.
conversation, right?
Yeah, but anyways, that's all I'll say on that. But oh my goodness, they're walking a thin line. It's a low thin line. You
Yeah.
can walk over it without even
Yeah.
noticing it if they
You-
just
listen,
try
The bar
any amount of try.
The bar is on the ground and it's the thickness of dental floss. You can walk over it and not know. All right.
You can step on it and not know. Just like it's so low. So if they can just if some like group of 5 dudes whose sole mission is to be like, all right guys, the game will boot. Like that's the mission. That's the game. The game shall boot. Like good. Congratulations. Give them a raise. They made a steaming pile of failure work. Like but anyways, I do hope they
Anthem.
fix everything they set out to and more to make it the game it was intended to be on launch and not the shallower game that it ended up being, that with its pitfalls and issues. So
yeah,
tip my hat, keep on chugging along, and hope they fix this thing the right way.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, Anthem. Even if you can't hear me, even if we live in the same town, I'm rooting for you.
Root.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think there's only one thing left, unless we want to keep talking about Anthem.
No.
Where were you gonna go, Vass?
oh no, I was going to pivot us to something that's similar, but
Said my piece.
Go for it.
well, we were talking about a game, future sci-fi-esque shooter that is coming back from the brink of failure. And while it may be too soon to say something like this, there has been some news from the Halo Infinite camp.
Vast, we're like this. I know you can't see my fingers, but we're like this.
Yes!
Intertwined.
Take it away, Scorch.
All right, so this week news broke that the Halo Infinite lead, Chris Lee, he was the head of FPS development, resigned from 343 Industries. This is
it's a big blow.
It's a long list of people that have left 343 during the development of Halo Infinite. And
big name people, like the names of people that started with 343.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heavy hitters.
And like one of the people that they brought back that Microsoft reinstated at 343 was Joseph Staten, who left Bungie after Destiny 1. So like they've got some I'm worried, all right, about Halo, a franchise that I love from my Xbox days.
Near and dear.
And I have the Master Chief Collection on my PC. It runs beautifully, and I cannot wait for the rest of you guys to purchase it so we can do a 4-player legendary run. I think it would be so much fun.
Oh my god.
But this draws a whole bunch of parallels to me with the story that you're hearing coming out of 343 and the story that you heard coming out of BioWare around Mass Effect Andromeda.
Can I add the big D word?
Do it.
It also reminds me of the stories that were circling around Destiny before Vanilla Destiny
big time
dropped.
Yeah.
I think Destiny's were much larger hits to the gut, and this is like a soft slap that's, building up. But yes, same direction, if you will.
Yeah. People were leaving before that ill-fated trailer of the horrible claymation looking brutes that we saw, and like the weird looking phantoms and stuff that looked like they were still made out of polygons that weren't like chipped out correctly or anything.
Mhm.
But it's just continued after that, and I'm worried. I'm worried.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to take a quick read from an article on Windows Central that says Chris Lee's departure comes as a massive surprise, but this isn't the first time that the major figures at 343 Industries have departed the studio during Halo Infinite's development cycle. The game's creative director, Tim Longo, left in 2019, and Halo Infinite's lead producer, Mary Olson, left shortly after. Additionally, and we've mentioned this, Halo alum Joseph Staten recently signed onto the project as the project lead for the game's campaign in order to help ship the game, and Pierre Heinz was brought on to help with the game's multiplayer.
They're trying to soften this and make it sound not as bad as it really is. It's not good. Like no part of that many big name people coming in and then being basically worked out or voluntarily saying I'm done with this and walking away, to me spells that there's a serious management tug of war going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to suffer.
Yeah.
Or the player base anticipation for this gets to suffer.
And just remember that this game was scheduled to release as the launch title for Xbox Series X. And launch day is literally 2.5 weeks away now.
Yeah.
Less than 2 weeks away. So so I'm like, how in the world do they think that this game is going to be ready?
Honestly, all of it might not be ready. They might compartmentalize some of its release.
Will they pull a Final Fantasy remake? Oh, this is completely different. This is Sony or Square Enix's vision for Final Fantasy remake, and this is completely different. But do you think they might do would it be possible for them to do a campaign sections 1 and 2 book, like book 1 release and then a book 2 release with multiplayer?
No. I think they'll have the campaign solid from the beginning and multiplayer will take the hit.
But multiplayer is the bread and butter for the game, isn't it?
It is, but campaigns buy time.
Like,
that's
listen,
true.
Call of Duty and Halo are the two titles that come to mind for player bases that go and buy the game and completely waylay the campaign and play the multiplayer. It's those two guys.
But if it's the only option you have, you're going to grit your teeth and do it anyways.
I think you're going to see you're going to see a proportion of sales upon release if they only have campaign ready, and you're going to see another chunk once multiplayer is ready.
Also, I just want to comment on the fact that Master Chief's new grapple hook that they gave him for this one literally looks like it was glued on, and it kind of frustrates me.
It does. It does kind of look glued. I have a lot of questions. I'm going to let them do what they do, and if it plays well, it's going to be fine. But yeah, I mean, they're making some decisions that I'm not sure about.
Mm-hmm.
And
all I can say is Go ahead.
I think that there are people on the dev team that will also echo my sentiment. People are making decisions that they're not sure about either, and they are deciding to leave.
Mm-hmm. Very common.
It might not be over the grappling hook, but it might also be over the grappling hook. I don't know, you know?
I think the grappling hook argument has at least gone by.
Yeah.
Jasmine
when does it come out on 360?
When does it come out on Xbox 360? I mean, that's kind of how it looked, and I mean, I said it before, but I was surprised, and the first thing I did was ask Scorch, is like, am I just seeing this wrong, or is this not look as good as a Halo game should?
Yeah.
It just weirded me out.
And
honestly.
then
for as much time as they've had you would think there'd be new elements molded into it, but they kind of just carried it over.
Well,
Maybe they left all the shading and stuff off. I don't know.
Yeah, one of the things that happened immediately after Vass asked me that question was that I sent her a side-by-side screenshot of a phantom from the original release of Halo 3, which was pre-2010, and a shot of a phantom from Halo Infinite before its release. And the Halo 3 Phantom looked leagues better than the Phantom in Halo Infinite.
Let's hope it's a dev kit. We can only hope.
Just like a slapdash concept video, I think, is what we're hoping that was.
I really do want this game to succeed because the only reason I would buy, as it stands, on Xbox for any purposes is to play Halo. It is the quintessential corner piece of the Xbox system, in my opinion. That's not necessarily true nowadays with the advent of more and more platforms and genres, but really Xbox started off with basically, it's for Halo. It was the Halo machine.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it was. And so the last Halo was not good enough for me to get an Xbox at all.
Yeah.
Halo 5, I watched its playthrough and I was like, there is nothing exciting here. There's nothing good about this. They tried to spruce up the multiplayer, and a huge, not a minuscule, a huge wave of the reviews and complaints online are like, man, I just want my Halo 3 back. Like that's basically what everyone said, is like this new Halo, like Halo 4 was okay. Like it was all right. It was good in comparison to the pinnacle that everyone compares to Halo 3. But this last Halo, like Halo 5, was just not good in the multiplayer, and it showed in the numbers and the reviews of people that played it. But I'm really hoping this one does a whole lot better, so much so that it would make me want to contemplate getting a console to play Halo. But that's very far in the future.
Let's be clear here. We're never going to wish for these things to fail. That hurts way too many people. For like such nostalgia, a huge title to fail.
Destroys childhood.
We want all of these people to be successful.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
We're just worried, you guys. We're worried.
Because you're not giving us clean flag signals here. It's got a lot of confusing stuff, and what we're getting is reminiscent of really bad stuff. Yeah. You need to stop doing it.
Listen, we've been hurt before, okay? And it's painful, and
deep cuts.
We wear that damage like armor now. And every time that we see something like this, we grit our teeth and shake our head, and we wonder, you know?
And look down at that scrappy armor piece that became our armor. Yeah. I remember you back when you hurt me so. I will remember this day.
Look at my No Man's Sky shoes and my Anthem shorts. And look at the Master Chief shirt I have on, and think to myself, not you too. Yeah. But
not again.
You know,
please don't. Anything but that.
We've been hurt before.
We have, especially over this generation.
Yeah.
Well, I just have one more item on the docket, something to kind of lighten it up a little bit before, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Take it away.
Shoot.
Because it's not something that we as gamers are necessarily interested in, but I have been keeping Riot Games IPs. Just curious about their handling of their IP and what they're doing next, because they have a huge cast of characters right now, and they are trying to figure out how to transition from becoming a video game company into a multimedia company. That's how I see them right now, and that's just what I'm looking at. And The Verge announced, or actually Riot Games announced, that a League of Legends spinoff called The Ruined King will launch on consoles in early 2021. And Ruined King, a League of Legends story, is a single player turn-based RPG that's set in the League of Legends world. Uh, and they already also announced like 5 or 6 characters who are going to be in the game, and they released a teaser trailer. I thought the trailer looked pretty cool.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
I didn't know they had one released.
Oh, here I'm going to pop into the chat. Take a look at it real quick. It's really short.
Riot Games does some pretty cool cinematics.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're not like as super crisp as like World of Warcraft cinematics, but they're pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like they're riding the coattails of like World of Warcraft and Overwatch for the amount of cinematics that you can muster and like storytelling. But I have faith in them that they are going to be able to do something cool. Just, you know, remember, League of Legends, and I don't know how to sugarcoat this, Riot Games, League of Legends has the worst community on Earth. You guys are pieces of shit, and you're gonna stay pieces of shit forever. But I like the stuff that Riot Games makes as far as like concept and characters go. I'm not a MOBA
I like that
fan.
one music video.
Yeah,
I like that music video. Oh God,
You're right,
I hate
Jasmine.
MOBAs.
Most toxic players ever.
yeah, really.
And honestly, that might be a turnoff for some people. But maybe the fact that they're branching out on multiple different platforms, and if they're not cross-platform compatible, you know, obviously for now and into the future, it could increase having better communities on certain platforms, and then that might set a precedence moving forward.
All right, Jasmine. Yes, I did forget Rainbow Six and Call of Duty. Those are pretty bad, scummy places to live to.
I don't know. The times that I talked with the Rainbow Six guys, they're just like goofy.
I feel like that's some infamous company to keep right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, COD's always had a toxic community, like toxic week one.
Yeah.
Like there's the memes on COD toxicity
_XXX bang your mom XXX is doing 360 no scopes in the corner and finishes with a 0 and 36 KD ratio and then blames the rest of the team. Like that's how it goes.
It manages to teabag your body every time he kills you, just you.
Yeah. Or if anybody else kills you too.
Yeah, but specifically those guys.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I have seen that Rainbow Six toxicity towards female players. It's pretty stupid. I don't for the life of me understand it.
It's pretty gross. And you guys need to stop that. Like, especially if we're in a community that needs to be united in things. You guys really need to stop being grody. Yeah. Okay? You gotta stop.
Yep.
It's like, stop it. Stop.
Yeah, like you're holding us all back. Don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah. I second that emotion.
But anyway,
don't be the mold behind the shower curtain.
We completely derailed your conversation fast. I'm so sorry.
No,
we did, but it was worth it.
No,
totally worth it.
I was coming to the end of this. I was just, gonna reiterate that this is supposed to be coming early 2021. It's another like linchpin in their transformation, and so this game, the single player RPG, they had announced a fighting game, and then what I'm most interested in is the animated series. We haven't heard much more about that since they released that trailer. I think it was at the 2019. I don't even know what their Riot con is called, but I'm pretty sure that that's where it was announced. And of course they had those 2 music videos. So
yeah,
I'm really curious to see what they're going to do next.
I'm rooting for them. They make some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They attract the wrong people, but they make some cool stuff.
Yeah,
we shall see.
Hopefully,
who knows what the future holds at this point.
They're growing as a company and as a people. Maybe they've learned from their Me Too moments, and
I hope so.
We will see what the future has for them.
Yep. Well, I think we're out of topics. Does anyone have anything else to say?
No, I think that's it for me.
Okay. Fast?
Don't have anything else to say other than really quick, just really quick, because I know we're not going to get to this, but and this will take like 2 or 3 minutes. Arcadius and I tried the Ghost of Tsushima raid today.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah. Goodness. You need all 4 people.
Is that hard, huh?
This is not a. I mean, if you're playing 3 people, you best be on it to brass tacks. Like, you better be so good to do it with 3 people, because I see 4 as a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So,
Oh yeah.
No chicken noodle Snoop will cut it. For
God, no, not at all. Like, he will never get past the first part if that's the way it gets played. It's you better be on your A game. You better be talking. You better be all partied up. It's got to be coordinated. Or if you, I almost want to take back my previous comment when I was like, oh yeah, they just should put in a matchmaking. No, they should not.
Yeah.
If you need to go hunt people, it kind of sucks. I could see where some people want matchmaking if they don't have a lot of their friends on their list that play it. But if you play this with Randy's, boy, you best be doing group chat, because otherwise, I feel for you. It will be a bad time.
Yeah.
And we came in with 2 really great players, and they had figured out the first room. Here's the thing: I really like the puzzle aspect of the game so far, and part of what I didn't have with Destiny, which was like I think the first time I experienced in-game raids, was the puzzle solving aspect of it. Because the first couple times that I did the raid before I met you guys, it was just someone saying, "Hey, we're doing this now. Okay, we're doing this now," and then we're done. You know. So
Sequential kill the thing, stand on the thing.
Yeah. But with this one, like going through the first room, understanding what the puzzle was, having that explained to us, executing it on the second try or the third try felt good. And then going into the next room and then figuring out what we were supposed to do together as a team, and then almost achieving it with 3 players, because
we were real close. We got like 80% there. There's one instance of when I think 2 out of the 3 of us were downed for about a minute, and that pretty much sealed the fate right there. But we almost pulled it off with 3 people, but we could never get that close again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I'm glad you guys are liking it.
Yeah. It's really good. And again, I'm just continue to give some praises to the Sucker Punch team for not only bringing us a really awesome single player experience, but then saying, hey, what was missing is you, and letting us play with our friends and having a pretty fun experience. I hope it's something that they continue to flesh out, because I've really been enjoying it. And I would have gladly done, I know they couldn't do like a full story campaign, but if they told me, 5 months from now, six months from now, they're going to release a second set of story missions, I'd come back and do that, because it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool. All right, well, does that wrap everything up?
I think that wraps it up. That's all the news.
Oh,
that's all the hot takes.
Well, this has been another episode of our podcast. We are now on other platforms. You can find us on Amazon and Stitcher, and we're exploring other avenues as we speak. If you are listening to us on those platforms, know that we live stream our podcasts as we record them on YouTube. And if you want to participate with us, you can hang out in the chat and you can talk to us live while we are recording. This has been a good one, you guys. I'm Scorched. That was Fast Empires, and that was Arcadius Zero, and we're done. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Signing out.